Hey, how's everybody doing? My name's Clem. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and today we're coming to you from my home studio here in Shanghai, China. What we're going to be talking today is about getting rid of unwanted noise when recording. So there's basically two types of noise, one being acoustic noise and the other being electrical noise. Nothing ever gets completely silent, but we try to eliminate as much as we can. So let's step into the studio and take a look at some of these. Let's first start by talking about acoustic noise. Now there's a few ways that you can reduce acoustic noise. One of them is altering the environment, which as you can see, I've covered the walls in acoustic foam. The bass traps in the corners there to take care of the lower frequencies, and you can alter the environment by making sure that your windows are closed, which can block out any outside noises, maybe traffic, or maybe dogs barking or people shouting, or just normal street noise. As you can see here, when we open it, you might be able to hear some outside environment stuff. You can also maybe I could put pillows up, to block the window if that were an issue. If you have noisy neighbors or roommates, you can always maybe help block out some of the noise coming from the doorway by putting a blanket to, block the cracks in the door. One thing you may noticed have been maybe the noise of the electronics in the room. So one thing you can do can be, making sure you're turning off as many as possible from what you don't need. So my AC unit can be shut off. This television screen, this monitor, unless I'm reading lyrics off of it, I'm not probably going to use it during recording. So I can turn that off as well because it's not necessary. Maybe the extra speakers that I don't need to be using right now can be switched off. So that way you can, take out as much as possible. Mic placement is also important to look at. And as you can see right here, I have the microphone facing away from the window. And in this room, that's generally where most of my noise comes from. So I have it facing away from the window, so it avoids the street noise. I have this piece of acoustic foam back here, which also kind of blocks a little bit from the back. And it does provide a drier sound, which I don't always want, but it helps reduce noise. As well as the polar pattern you choose. So I usually have a polar pattern facing the front, so a little heart-shaped one. So mostly the microphone's only picking up what's going on over here anyways, but that helps. Now let's talk about electrical noise. Every piece of gear and every microphone has its own self-noise. And if you can limit the number of things the noise is going through, then you're going to be reducing the noise floor. So make sure that you have a nice clean path. Short cables are good. So since I'm working in a small space, I don't have that long of a cable going from my interface to my microphone. Balanced cables, whenever possible, are great. XLR and TRS cables, as well as picking higher quality gear, because if you're spending more money on it, it means they probably spent more time to make sure that your gear is not making as much noise. Like cheaper stuff might be made out of plastic and create more noise, more self-noise. So get higher quality gear whenever you can. Another helpful tool in reducing electrical noise is looking at your mic pre. And so here in this audio interface, making sure the gain level is not set too high, because if you have a higher gain level, then you're going to have higher noise, higher electrical noise. Now remember, you're a producer and you get to use noise and sound in any way that you like. And noise can actually sometimes be used as a nice effect or an interesting tool in your music. But make sure that you're doing it purposefully and not just accidentally, because if you do it accidentally, a lot of the times it just sounds sloppy rather than innovative and interesting. And also don't forget that it's better to correct noise in the beginning, because it's much easier than dealing with it at the end in the post-production. And the cleaner the recording that you have, the more options you will have available later when you're editing. I hope that this video on noise reduction has helped you out. Thank you for checking it out and taking the time to listen.